Hello, wonderful people. You're welcome back once again to a news digest. This is a news flash as well as IPOB press release. We are bringing you the state of the nation in Anambra State. Missing top INEC staff found dead. This is the situation right now as we are bringing it to you. A staff of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Anambra State, Mr. Durocha Osta-Joel, has been reported dead in controversial circumstances. National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee of INEC, Barrister Festus Okoye, in a statement of Friday disclosed that on Wednesday, 28 September 2022, the Commissioner's Administrative Secretary in Anambra State, Mr. Okwonu Jude, reported the disappearance of a staff, Mr. Durocha Osta-Joel, the Principal Executive Officer 2 on grade level 10. On Thursday, 29 September, the Administrative Secretary further informed the Commission that Mr. Durocha's dead body was found along Isuanocha Oram Road in Okanot local government area of Anambra State, where unknown persons dumped him, he stated. He said other staff members of the commission, Durocha's brother, and the police have evacuated the body and deposited same in the morgue. The police and the security agencies have commenced an investigation to determine the circumstances that led to Durocha's disappearance and eventual death, he stated. And of course, this is this. It has started. It has begun the situation in Nigeria where every politician will showcase what he's meant of, where you come to know that Nigeria is not a country per se, where an electoral officer is just disappeared within a twinkle of an eye. The next time you will find his body. And that's the end. Nothing will happen. The government will do nothing. This is the situation you are. In Nigeria, Nigeria is in a state of emergency. This is a news flash that we are bringing to you. On in a different line, bringing to you is an IPOB press release that was published today, the 30th day of September 2022. And this is on a state of moral ground. IPOB want to air their voice to show the world what is going on in the Zoological Republic judicial system. I quote, Nigeria courts must protect the sanctity of the institution of judiciary by ordering for the unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, according to IPOB. We, the global movement and the family of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, under the command and the leadership of the great liberator and prophet Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, wish to state unequivocally the rendition of the IPOB leadership from Kenya to Nigeria since June last year till date, a violation of his fundamental rights. In our issue, we wish to place it on the record that the criminal abduction, torture, illegal detention, and unlawful transfer of great leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria constitutes a natural bar to any prosecution or his further detention in DSS solitary confinement. Extraordinary rendition is a serious crime under international law. No civilized nation in the world, more so those under common law system of justice, condone kidnapping and extraordinary rendition, transfer of suspects across international borders without the authority of law grounded in an extradition process. Nigeria courts must protect sanctity of the institution of judiciary by ordering for the unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on the face of the fundamental violation of international and local laws by Nigeria government in the abduction and extraordinary rendition of our great leader and the prophet Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. A plethora of judicial pronouncements are from the United States to Canada, UK, New Zealand, Australia, and even South Africa under the apartheid regime are uniform in their condemnation of extraordinary rendition. Ironically, the present Attorney General of Nigeria is also against extraordinary rendition, but it appears only so when it concerns people from his Fulani tribe, like the one concerning his dubious officer ACP Abakari, who American intelligence demanded from Nigeria to US. This government's hypocritical stance was demonstrated in the case of disgraced suspended ACP Abakari, who was allowed to undergo extradition proceedings in Abuja to contest a US warrant of arrest issued against him. But our leader, being of the Igbo extraction or Igbo ethnic stock, was denied the same due process of law in Kenya and Nairobi. If an obnoxious regime like the Israel apartheid regime in South Africa can be compelled by their own apartheid appeal courts in Pretoria to recognize the illegality of extraordinary rendition, we therefore implore Nigeria courts here in Abuja to prevail upon the present regime to release our great leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu without further hesitation or delay. Nigerian governments can amend and prefer new charges from now till thy kingdom come. The fact of the matter remains that no court in Nigeria has the authority or jurisdiction to try our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Nigerian government is in a material breach of a plethora of laws and conventions, both municipal and international. Nigerian courts must send an unequivocal message that executive lawlessness and prosecutorial banditry cannot be tolerated in a constitutional democracy as pretentiously practiced in Nigeria. The image maker of IPOB wished to let public know that Abubakar Malami lied on the oath. Malami and APC governments are in a maze for perjuring themselves in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's matter. Imagine an attorney general that doesn't know the law he is meant to be a chief law officer of. Malami lied and has persisted in these lies by pleading charges that did not meet the requirements of Section 195 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, ACJA. This is perjury, contrary to Section 117 of the Criminal Code Act, which states that any person in any judicial proceedings or for the purpose of instituting any judicial proceeding knowingly gives false testimony touching any matter which is material to any question then pending in that proceedings or intended to be raised in that proceedings is guilty of an offense which is called perjury. By levying the following charges, none of which contains dates, time, and place of where the alleged offenses was committed or were committed, the mandatory legal requirements to ensure its total compliance was flagrantly disregarded by Malami in the breach of Section 196 of ACJA. Unfortunately, Justice Binta Nyako saw this, but her maternal instincts to protect her husband and son facing same corruption charges and the wider interest of her Fulani tribe to maintain a stronghold on the lives of other ethnic groups in Nigeria led her to pervert the course of justice in her refusal to dismiss all the charges. We insist that our great leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be released unconditionally without more delay and hesitation. Comrade Emma Powerful Media and Publicity Secretary for IPOB Worldwide, unquote. This is the truth of the matter. IPOB have just published it again. Besides, we have come to know for years that Nigerian judicial system does not really stand for anything that is called justice. There is no justice in the Nigerian judicial system. That is why all this is going on. They will break the international laws. They will break their local rules, which they themselves made. I mean, the Fulanis, they are no respecter of law. What a shame to a group of people in this way. The law that you yourself promulgated, you will, within an instant, you will break the law. The law of extraordinary rendition is embedded in the Nigerian law, and yet they didn't respect it because it happened to be Biafrans, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But when it happened to be their own person that has committed a lot, it is then that they will now consult the law. In terms of our backyard, they refuse to allow United States to extradite him to United States. You see, but now even the law court stated the constitution of the zoo stated it. Let's say the law of the zoo stated it. If you make mistake and committed an extraordinary rendition, that individual your rendition cannot stand trial again because none of your courts is qualified to try him because you have broken the law that your own court, you have broken that requirement, that authenticity that makes your court to stand. And yet, Justice Binta Nyako knows this. She knows this. And yet she goes along to try Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in her own court, because her husband and her son are facing issue of corruption. So she is looking for a way to deliver the child and the husband in the expense of someone else. So IPOB is really saying it once again. Of course, we have exploited so many things necessary to pass our message across. The United Nations has equally sent the opinion. That is why we know the reason why we continue repeating it on daily basis. The opinion of the United Nations that Nigeria should release the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, for very months now. Nigeria has not done anything. You have seen it. So that is why the IPOB is releasing this press, so that people across the globe will hear it and equally know until when it starts happening. We'll see you on our next video.